Tell the other story where you guys were trying to get across the border into Canada. Were you trying to start your trip there or ended the trip there? I forget. You're trying to start in Canada?
We had just biked in, again, Montana, but this time north, like pretty northeastern Montana.
Right.
And that was your first time going out west biking.
Yeah,
right?
first time bikepacking in general.
Mm-hmm.
And like looking back on it, we had no idea what we were doing bikepacking wise, but it was still a blast. But we just like.
And keep in mind, this is the second trip Matt's gone on with my sister.
Yeah.
Wait, he's with your sister here?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm trying to get to meet up with his sister, her boyfriend, and then her friend, like one of her best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like texting them, like, yeah, we're going to meet you guys at this place in Canada and on this date. Right. Then we leave for our bikepacking trip in Montana, and we get back. But before we left, at this point, we still didn't know how we were going to get from Montana to Banff, Canada.
Yeah.
And
little kids, take notes on.
Don't do what I'm about to tell you.
Do exactly what this young man did.
Yeah.
It is the perfect
best way to get around.
Yeah, best way to get around and meet very interesting new people.
This is when we were pinching pennies.
Which website did you use to go about trying to find someone? Was it
super reliable website? Yeah. Everyone knows it. Craigslist.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Craig.
And we took a picture from.
Nothing ever weird happens on Craigslist, right?
Dude, that's what everyone in Montana told us. All the locals in Whitefish, Montana, said just post.
That's probably where the weirdest things happen on Craigslist is in Whitefish, Montana.
They're all on Craigslist.
Yeah. Actually, the person who told us to post on the person who told us to post on Craigslist was the guy that we were staying with, and he had an Airbnb in his name. His legal name was Life Everlasting Noel.
Great guy to
and
take
you
advice
guys
from,
go,
yeah.
best advice I've ever gotten.
Yeah, and he had the cheapest house in Whitefish, Montana on Airbnb. Great dude. Really awesome dude. Great house. Not the best advice for how to get to Canada.
Maybe not the best confidant when it comes to trying to cross the border.
And I'd say it all probably started with our post, too. Our post on Craigslist wasn't great.
You guys did, I don't know, the whole situation, it does make it seem like you guys are, like, I guess get into it, but it like from the outside perspective, the way you're talking about getting across the border does make it seem like you are trying to do something illegal when you're not. You're just trying,
it was literally,
You can't cross them on your bikes, right? Are you allowed to cross them on bikes?
You can cross on your bike
if you're fast enough.
But we didn't have. Then this is the first thing we learned. We rented bikes in Montana, and we were going to rent bikes in Canada.
Okay.
We didn't ship our bikes out there.
There you go.
Which we also learned was not the way to do it.
Yeah.
So how far are you guys from Banff then?
Like 200 miles, I think.
Whitefish is 200 miles from Banff.
Yeah, that might be totally.
So like 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, it's like a long drive.
All our viewers
like
in Whitefish, Montana, are going. These guys are idiots.
Yeah.
It's so much closer than that.
Go. These guys aren't even on Craigslist.
Yeah. They have no idea what they're doing.
They're talking about us on Craigslist
all right,
right
so
now.
you guys post on Craigslist. What's your post like?
And that's where I think it all starts, because we find a picture of the two of us from our last trip together.
You posted a picture with the message?
In Peru, yeah, because that's what this guy told us to do. He's like, you need to post a picture of yourselves to make sure you're reliable.
Because you need to
make sure you're good looking so that people want.
Well, that's what ultimately we learned. We post a picture of the two of us,
shirts off,
in Peru, just like super hungover and look terrible. So we're just like, oh, people are gonna know that we're cool guys.
Yeah.
Connor's throwing up in the bag.
Yeah, we disheveled, and we post a picture, and our caption was something along the lines of 2 dudes, 3 bags, because we had all of our gear with us. So we were like, 2 dudes.
The other 2 were talking about their sacks.
2 dudes, 3 bags, trying to get from Whitefish to Banff. Then the next sentence, we were I forget.
Were you trying to throw some flair in there?
We were like pretty loopy when we were posting this. I think just like
just as hungover as in the picture.
Yeah, and we were like looking for a ride. Sometimes I remember typing this out specifically. I was like, sometimes we fart in the car and put up the windows and refuse to get any other air in there.
That's what did it, dude.
But and then we were like ... but we'll pay you for gas money and a snack.
Oh, no.
And that was our post, and we put it out.
No. Oh, dude, this is all. Do you have a picture of this, like Craigslist?
Yeah, no, I
post?
definitely have it.
All right, shoot us to that. I wanna like put up like show notes and stuff. So I'd love.
Yeah,
to
that's a good idea.
The actual post I screenshotted it after, and it's like exactly what I just said, probably even worse.
Oh no!
And it's with the picture too, so you'll see the picture I used.
Okay.
And I put it up. And we get back, and we're leaving the next day after our bike trip now.
Did you write the post, or did you guys write it in tandem?
I just ripped it out one day.
Connor didn't peer review it?
No, Connor,
he was listening and goes, what did you do?
He was like listening in as I was like typing it out loud. And then I just posted it, and he was like, what are you saying over there? At this point, he also like knows to listen to 10% of what I say.
Right, yeah.
So I post it, and we get back 5 days later, and we're back in service in Whitefish. And I was like, "Oh, nice, dude. We got 3 responses."
Wait, when were you supposed to leave? When you got back, when were you supposed to leave to go to Banff?
The next morning.
So you guys post on Craigslist, go off the grid for
leave
5
for 5
days,
days, no service whatsoever,
and then come back and just assume, yeah, we'll have a ride to get to Banff tomorrow.
That's exactly how it worked.
Oh my god.
Actually, yeah, no, we had a lot of faith, and then. We get back, and I open up my phone, and I have 3 responses. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, dude, we're in. We have 3 different people wanting to drive us to Banff.
Right.
I open up the first response.
One of them's got to be normal.
Well, yeah, you would think, out of the 3.
Or you guys not even thinking about this. I feel like you guys didn't even... I feel like it didn't even come into the realm of possibility for you guys. That maybe on Craigslist posting a weird message like this, we're not going to get like the best people to answer.
Did not even cross my mind, honestly.
Insane. That's insane.
Open up this is the first time I realized that our post probably wasn't great, because I open up the first message
it's got to be sexual.
Had a week to sit on it.
It's got the first post has to be sexual.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we looked all right. Szechuan sauce. I posted.
Oh, no.
So the first response I get is a guy, and he responds, and he's like, "Happy to take you to Whitefish. You don't need to pay me in gas money. Just let me blow both of you." And I was like. The first response didn't work out, Connor.
Here you go. Does that mean we still have to get you a snack?
What are my snacks?
Connor, he didn't want to take us across the border, just to the border.
Yeah, no. First response, not great. Yeah. Second one was some kind of like robot auto message.
Right.
All right.
So I get to the third response.
Right.
And it's this guy, and it's a super normal response, and he's like, "Happy to take you guys over to Banff. Make this drive all the time. It's beautiful. I haven't done it in years, but I really enjoy that drive. Like, here's my number. Text me or call me, and let's talk specifics." So I tell Connor, I'm like, "Yo, we're in. This guy, he is willing to take us. Let's go into town and grab beers, and I'll call him."
Does Connor also know the other 2 responses? Does he know that this is your only shot?
This is our only shot. At this point, he does know that.
Yeah, it's not like you had a wealth of people to choose from.
No.
Because you could have taken the first option. I don't know. It sounded fine to me.
Yeah, to the border.
Yeah.
He could have just blown Connor. We would have been good. Figured it out
take
from
you
there.
To the border, then I'll blow you, and then I'll take you across the border.
I said both of you.
One to the border, one to Banff.
And I want a Twinkie.
Yeah, I want that snack.
Don't forget about that snack. But I also don't know how in detail I should go with this. This is a long story.
It's a pretty good long story. So, all right. So, just start it from when you get in the car with him.
No, because you start getting some weird vibes right before that, right?
Yeah. So,
did he?
I'll start from when we first meet him. It's the next morning, and we figured out all the logistics. It went perfectly normal, just as you would talk with anyone else who you met on Craigslist.
Perfectly normal.
Yeah. So we're waiting at this coffee shop.
No red flags came up
at all. No. Actually, no red flags. Right. And we decided we're going to meet at this coffee shop at 7 a.m. to start the drive. Mm-hmm. So we get there. We're just hanging out. It's just the 2 of us at this point. And he's driving, I think he said like half an hour, 45 minutes he had to drive from his place. And we're drinking coffee, eating breakfast. 7 o'clock rolls around, 8 o'clock rolls around. And then finally I shoot him a text, and I was like, "Hey, do you pretty much like, where are you?
Right.
Do you need any help finding us? And shows up, doesn't answer the text, but shows up an hour later at 9.
And he was supposed to grab you at 7?
And he's supposed to grab us at 7.
Okay.
And he pulls
So
up.
he's not getting that snack.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
That's part of it. No, that is part of it, because we said we'll buy you snacks.
In front of him.
You guys listening will see my post, and we specifically said we'll buy you snacks. So we weren't going to go back on that just yet. And he pulls up in this beat down pickup truck. Like it's trashed. But pulls up, it's a working car, and the first thing he says is, I forgot my license, my ID, and my passport.
To go across the Canadian
And we're
border.
already 2 hours behind schedule. Like, we're already 2 hours late.
Oh no.
So we're like, all right, just go. But at the same time, he's our only option. So we're like, all right, can you go grab it and come back and pick us up? And he's like, yeah, sure. Come on, you guys come with. It's 45 minutes and then 45 minutes back. And we're like, no, we're fine. Like, we'll just chill here, which we were going to do. So he leaves.
Why does he drive out there to tell you that?
That's also what we were wondering. Like, there's definitely service closer.
At what point did he realize he forgot all those things?
I guess as soon as he stepped out of the car.
Or maybe he had a secret plan to bring you guys back.
This guy thinks he's crushing it, goes to pull up to you guys, opens the door, gets out of the car, goes, oh.
2 hours late. Oh, about to be 4 hours late.
Oh my God, I
God
forgot
does
everything.
not know how to do the pocket check. Phone, wallet, keys.
No, he's all over the place. So, jump ahead. It's now 11. So it was like 2 hours round trip for him to drive back, come over. It's 11 o'clock. We're jacked up on caffeine at this point. I'm a little pissed because I'm like,
getting antsy, pissed.
I don't want to. Yeah, we could have been in Banff by now.
Right.
It feels like. And he comes back. Oh, we also at this point, because we saw the car that he was driving, we flip a coin for who's going to have to sit in the middle of the two.
Oh, it's a bench seat in a truck?
That's it.
Oh.
Well, like a pickup?
Straight across the front, yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be him driving, someone in the middle, and someone in the passenger
You
seat.
guys already know it's going to suck.
Yeah, so we flip a coin, I lose.
This isn't the guy who wanted to get blown.
No, and this is our most reliable Craigslist contact.
Should have gone with the robot.
Yeah. So I lose. I know I'm going to be in the middle. He shows back up. We throw all of our bags in the back of his truck, and we hop in, and I'm sitting in the front. And Connor is much more patient than I am. And I'm like kind of getting towards the end of my patience with this guy already. And we sit down, we're about to pull out, and he goes, oh, wait, you guys mentioned something about snacks, right? He's like, do you guys mind buying me a milkshake
What time is
inside?
What time is this?
It's at 11. It's 11 o'clock.
4 hours.
And I have caffeine coursing through my veins.
Right.
And he mentions milkshake. He wants us to go inside and buy him a milkshake. And I was like, yo, you're 4 hours late. There's no way we're buying you snacks for the rest of this trip.
Right.
Like I was
No
just
snacks
I was fed up.
No
and I was like,
one's-
there's not a chance.
yeah.
He's like, really? He was like surprised that I was saying this.
That's like, I don't care about the money. I wanted the snack.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, there's no way we're buying you a milkshake. And he's like, all right. Well, and then he gets out and buys himself a milkshake.
Yeah, because he needs the milkshake.
He needs it, I guess. Comes back in, and we're off. Finally, 11 o'clock. We're
Let's go.
driving towards
Banff.
the border.
Banffed, here we come.
And it's like 2 hours to the border, and I think it's 2 hours on the opposite side into Canada.
I'm sorry, I think I missed who draw the short stick for sitting in the middle.
That'd be me.
Matt
That would
did.
be you. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That would be me.
Great.
Which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
This guy holds the conversation the entire time, and he's telling us about his poker and gambling days
Right.
and whitefish and all this other stuff. And I can pretty much close my eyes and have this guy talk the entire
So
time.
by holds the conversation, you mean this guy's
rambles.
talking out loud?
Yeah.
There's
Rambling
no,
on and on and
no,
on.
You're
He has,
trying to
he has
sleep.
no questions about the two random kids trying to get across the border.
Yeah, no.
No, he just got his milkshake.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
good to go.
Yeah,
He's
my-
on top of the
my
he's
bad.
solid.
That would be two.
So he's talking the entire time up there.
Right.
We both check out.
Was he any good at gambling and poker?
It sounded like he...
Was he winning money?
It's
He must have
the
not
normal-
have been
the
because
normal
he
gambler.
needed this money.
Yeah, well, he might have needed this money for a few things. But
no.
he's talking the entire time, and then we start approaching the border, and we're maybe like 10, 15 minutes out, and this guy's talking has come to a standstill. He's not saying a word. And I'm like, I'm wondering a little bit what's going on.
Right, little weird vibes going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit. And then we get closer and closer to the border. And now we can see the border, and he is freaking out. He's asking us, like, how fast he should be driving, if we have our seatbelts on. He's like, should I put my seatbelt on?
He didn't have a seatbelt on the whole time?
No. And he's, like, searching for his seatbelt, driving, like, 15 miles per hour up to the border. God. And he's just like, we can tell there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
And we pull up to the border agent, and the first thing this guy says, rolls down his window, looks at the border agent, and he goes, I don't know either of these guys. They found me on Craigslist and asked me to drive them across the border. And me and Connor and the border agent's just like, what the fuck? Like, what is okay?
He goes, you're from White Meadows or whatever.
And the border agent was just like, all right, just give me all your passports. So we hand over our passports, and I didn't say anything to him at that point, but we're just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Then, big surprise, the border agent comes back and he's like, yeah, just pull over here.
Right.
You guys
cannot go through.
He's like, you've been chosen for a random inspection.
Yeah, very random.
And we're like, yeah, the figures that we've been chosen.
Yeah.
So we pull over to kind of like a little bit more of an intense spot too. It's not just like where they'll search your car like on the outside.
Okay.
And definitely like the most intense border.
Like it's not
patrol.
where they're like whatever.
No, it's like
family cars.
It's like a place
whatever.
that you're pulling over to and you're getting out of your car.
Right.
Okay.
And we all hop out of our car, and they have this like silver table, and they're like, empty all your pockets, take off your hat, like empty it all on this table.
Right.
Didn't you say the guy?
And at the same time, wait, what?
Didn't you say the guy goes every time?
Oh yeah, that was the best part. He's like, you have to pull over here. You have been randomly inspected. And the guy who's driving us looks at us and he goes, every time. And I was just like, no, this is going downhill.
When you start off an interaction the way you just did,
I don't know these guys.
Sense.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, so we pull everything out of our pockets.
What do you think is going through the border patrol's head?
These two idiots. I want to see. Oh, we told them that we had to show them the Craigslist post.
Mm-hmm.
That comes later on, but
right.
That was pretty embarrassing.
No, but like when the driver just immediately, no questions asked, the first thing he says is just, I don't know these guys. I found them on like.
Maybe that's how he starts every conversation. He just went in to go get a milkshake and goes, by the way, I don't know those two guys in the car. I just found them on Craigslist. Because all right, here's your fucking vanilla milkshake.
Would you just relax, dude? But we're emptying our pockets and we throw everything out on the table, and then we watch the person who's been driving us, and he pulls out this vial that's like obviously some kind of medicine. It's a medical vial and it's filled with pink liquid, and he pulls it out, throws it on the table, and the border agent like hones in on it immediately. He knows exactly what it is, and he's like, he looks at the driver and he's like, so, and we're all standing there,
right?
And he's like, so when's the last time that you've used? And the guy was like,
I did.
No. He's like immediately. He's like, no, I don't. He's like, I don't shoot heroin. This is for back pain. This is methadone for back pain that I have. And then at this point, I like look over at Connor and I was just like, dude, this is fucked. Like,
pick the wrong guy.
We're not leaving.
Yeah.
And the guy picks up the vial, and he's looking at it, and he's like, what did you say your name was again? And the driver answers, and he's like, huh. Usually when you have methadone, it's under your name. And that's the last we saw of the driver.
Yep.
The guy, he obviously has like some, I don't even know what it is, some kind of pain medication on him that's not his.
Mm-hmm.
And they pull him inside, never see him again, and they're just like, yeah, you two go sit over there on the curb.
Right.
We're going to search the car.
Right.
And
well, I guess at this point you guys are probably thinking like, thank you for saying you didn't know who we were and you don't know
that's
us.
actually, it was like, oh, maybe he was
saving
looking out for us.
grace.
Like, he knew he was going to get stopped.
Right.
And he knew he had, but also like, why would you even try?
Yeah, you know you're going to cross the border.
And I guess it's because of he got to keep the money in the end that we paid him, but he goes inside, we don't see him again, and they start ripping apart the car.
Right.
And obviously they find like needles and At one point, he like opens up this piece of tin foil, and he's like, "Go grab the test kit." Like this is heroin.
Like actually ripping it up, like knives and
like opening, like ripping the seats forward.
Full-fledged cops episode.
Yeah, and we're sitting there, and we're just like, "What? We're never gonna get to Banff now.
Yeah, we're never leaving this spot ever."
No, it was bad. And they're like pulling out license plate. Turns out the car was stolen. Like everything that could have gone wrong is going wrong.
The story would have been so great, just like the weird driver, but the fact that like he's trying to bring drugs across the border. The car that he's driving you in is stolen, and he's got multiple license plates.
He
it's
comes
just like
4 hours late, and on top of that, well, he needs a milkshake.
Like, dude, maybe
don't forget a milkshake.
Like, I guess he didn't have any ill intentions towards you guys, because why would he try to cross the border? He would have done so before then. But like at that point, I'd be thinking like, what was going to happen to us? Like this guy is driving a stolen car. He's an addict.
Yeah,
and
that's really I think what it came down to is like I didn't even mention this, but he demanded that we pay him the cash before we got to the border.
Right.
Because there was like a full back and forth that I forgot to mention where I was like, can we pay you half now and then half when we get to our location?
Right.
And he seemed at this point
like
a reasonable guy.
Yeah.
Right.
He was super normal except for being 4 hours late. And he was like, no, like just pay me. I don't want you guys to screw me. Like get to the border in peace.
Which I get that side of it.
I totally got it.
But like, what are you guys gonna jump and roll from the car? Like you're sitting next to him.
I don't know.
I guess I get the half and half
to like
deal.
make him feel a little.
The half and half sounds fine. Yeah.
But I'm also sitting right next to him in this car, and I don't know this guy, and he's like getting pretty demanding about me paying him for a job that he's doing. So I was like, all right, here's the money.
And you're just trying to close your eyes.
Take it. Yeah, I don't care about your gambling days.
Right.
So that was the other thing. He was definitely just doing it for the money.
Right.
Which he ultimately got to keep.
So as Matt, it's the first time Matt told me the story. We're at a friend's house, and we're all chilling, and he's telling the story, and he's like right at the part like where they get to the border, and like he pulls out the vial.
And also, none of you believe me.
Yeah, well,
it's a ridiculous story.
It's a ridiculous story. So like we're all just sitting there like, like I believed you, but like it was just like,
how much of this is
exaggerating?
True?
Like, come on, like this just sounds crazy. And at that moment, like we won't say the guy's name, but he told us the name. And at that moment, Matt's phone is sitting like on the table where everyone else's phones is, and the phone lights up, and the name just comes across it.
This guy's name,
dude. And at that point, I was like, is Matt staging the story? Is this like a performance act where like he was gonna have someone call to like back him up?
Right.
But it couldn't have been.
Connor's on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Connor's like trying to help him out. But no, this guy calls him
because I put it on speaker.
As he's telling the story.
And I put it on speaker.
What are the chances?
That's wild.
What are the chances?
Yeah, and he like tried to tell me exactly what happened.
Yeah, he tried to tell him like the whole backstory.
Because I also I think he was following up because I texted him right after, and I was like, "Thanks for stealing." We paid him $200 to drive us.
Right.
And I was like, "Thanks for robbing us of $200." Something along the lines of like. Hope you're in jail or something like that. Like I was pissed.
Along the lines, that's the exact quote.
Yeah, no, I was pissed because we didn't have a lot of money for this trip, and we just wasted $200.
That's a decent amount of money.
And we're about to spend a lot more on travel up to Banff. But
right. Yeah, but he calls and like we're all sitting and we're like, what the hell? And then Matt starts like giving it to him, and he's like, what happened, man? Like, thanks a lot. Like you totally screwed us.
You guys left us.
And and he was like, no, dude, like you screwed me. Like they were looking for you guys. Remember? He like tried to spin it on
he's
him.
Like, no, it was the two of you that they were looking for, not me.
Did you call him out on his intro line to the Border Patrol officer?
No, he didn't.
I didn't call him out on that, but I was like, what are you talking about? And then he went into how he was bragging about the money he was going to make
at his poker game.
Off of this drive at a poker game. And someone called the Border Patrol and was like, this guy is taking these two guys across the border. And they knew, obviously, he was going to have drugs on him.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the reason he gave, which is like, maybe that did happen. Because he was bragging about the money.
Yeah.
And he was like, and this person wanted to drive you instead of me.
It's just so tough to...
The guy who's going to suck you off?
That's the guy who's playing poker.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Like,
that's what we thought, too, when he was telling us that. Yeah, so when you got... After this man gets taken away and his car gets stripped and everything, you're free to go.
Well,
right?
we didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
We're still just sitting there, but they've totally forgotten about us.
Right.
Because they're pulling out more and more illegal things from this guy's car. Well, not even his car.
Yeah,
from this illegally stolen car.
Stolen car. Right.
Now he can just go, that's not my car.
Yeah. Nothing in there is mine.
All right. So when they got to you, what did they say to you guys? Like, what happened?
So they didn't even say anything to us, and then finally I had to go to the bathroom, so I walked into, and I'm also still kind of like pissed that we lost $200.
Yeah.
So I walked inside, and I was like, hey, is there anywhere I can go to the bathroom? Also, I know that guy's like probably not going to be the one driving us. But is there any way we can get the money back that we paid him to drive us?
Right, because they have all of his possessions.
And he saw that too. Like when he emptied his pockets, the $200 came out.
Right.
So they asked us about it, and I was like, oh, that's what I paid him to drive us to Banff. They know the whole story.
Right.
And the Border Patrol agent looks at me, and he was like, no, that guy's dealing with a lot more serious crimes than petty theft.
Right.
Which is like what they were going to classify the $200 being like wrongly handed over to him. But he's like, that guy's dealing with a lot of problems. And he's like, also, there's no way that he's going across the border. There's no way that car is getting across the border. So you two have to figure out another way to leave here. And we're just like, all right, well, do you have any suggestions?
Right.
He's like,
what should our Craigslist post say this time?
Yeah. Like, lose the picture and don't talk about farting with the windows up. But
keep the snacks.
Dude,
honestly, called it.
Yeah, I can't wait until you guys see this post because I'm not kidding about the farts and the windows up.
That's so funny.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
But so this guy's like, go 100 yards that way, stand right on the other side of that cone, and this is at the border. He's like, stand on the other side of that cone, and
I'm gonna pull my gun out and we'll see how it goes.
And you run.
Take some target practice and start thumbing for a ride. Pretty much is what he said.
He told you guys to hitchhike.
Either.
He told you guys to hitchhike.
Told us to hitchhike.
Wow.
The closest town on either side. On the U.S. side, it's 20 miles, and on the Canadian side, it's 40.
This guy told you guys to hitchhike after you just went online hitchhiking.
Yeah. Just do it in person.
Yeah.
See how it works out.
It might be a little better. That's crazy. So did you guys make it to Banff?
We made it. We didn't make it to Banff that day, but we made it to the next town over, which is Fernie.
Right.
Which is also, it's a beautiful town. It's like this beautiful mountain town in Canada that a really nice guy who ended up an hour into us hitchhiking, stopped, pulled his car over. He was from the U.S., had a son our age that they like hiked around all the time on the AT.
That's what they always say.
He's like, it's a godsend when people pick us up on the AT and drive us places. So I can drive you guys as far as Fernie. Nice. And then we spent the night in Fernie. Watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Great movie
Theater.
In a movie theater.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
this you and the dad.
This is pre-corona. Yeah, me and the guy who hitchhiked, or the guy who picked us up.
I miss movie theaters.
Son, stay in the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, spent the night there, and then ultimately got a ride in like this taxi service that we had to hire.
But you did make it to Banff.
Yeah. Made it to Banff.
Okay.
Zach's sister
was waiting there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did we have the best story upon our entrance into Banff.
Yeah, how could you not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been very cool.
Oh my God, man. Yeah, that story is...
That's a crazy story.
That is wild.
That's an all-timer.
Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite stories.